So now I'm gonna show you all of my pickups between around March and last Thursday, I guess. This is from a little flea market I passed on my way to the local bakery. So it was 2 streets away from me. I didn't know there was a flea market going on that day, but as you can see, it was a nice little flea market. I spotted familiar Super Nintendo boxes from 200 meters away, so I ran up to the guy and asked him how much he wanted for all this stuff. He said 30 euros, and I didn't try to haggle, I just paid it immediately. He said he found it in his attic, it wasn't his originally, so you know he didn't have any nostalgic value towards it. But I'm glad with the 4 box SNES games, couple of loose ones, and a spare SNES. Especially, of course, Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 3 boxed. So in the beginning of March I had to go to Brussels for my job, and I visited the store Pele Mele there. Picked up some goodies, the Goonies 2. It says USA, but it's not it's a European copy. Mortal Kombat for the Game Gear boxed, and Assault Suits Falcon, which I already had, but I bought it for a friend, so he now has that copy. Well, nothing much to say about these pickups, other than the prices I guess are pretty alright for a shop. So after I came back from Japan, I bought some more Neo Geo CD games on eBay. Why? Because all the games included with my Neo Geo CD were fighter games, and I had a craving for some good shooters. So I started picking up shooters that I found at okay prices on eBay, and also picked up some PC Engine titles. My favorites, actually my favorite 2 pickups for the PC Engine this year, except maybe apart from download. Kato and Ken is like a bit of a Wonder Boy clone-ish platformer, and Honey in the Sky is also a very fun shoot 'em up. So these 2 are relatively cheap, I guess. I think I paid around 7 euros a piece. So pick those up if you can find them. On the top part of the photo you see a lot of Neo Geo CD shoot 'em ups, Viewpoint, Sonic Wings 2, Last Resort, Andro Dunos and Polestar. The other one is a puzzle game and a fighter. Also, Polestar was a bit expensive, I think I paid 60 euros for it, but the rest was all below 20 or 30 euros. So I guess I overspent. I admit it. In April and May I overspent a little bit, but in total I got some good price. So this would be the very first flea market I went to this year purposely. It was in Hemixen, which is 2 towns away from me, about half an hour with my bike. It was a super big flea market across the entire town, but sadly I didn't find a lot of good deals. The Wii games, both of them for €4 a piece, which is a good price, I guess. The tape player from Sony in front was, I think, €1, half euro, €1 for Little Big Planet, and I guess 1 or 2 euros for the GameCube games. In the 1080 Avalanche box, there was Soul Calibur 2, which was the reason why I picked it up. Well, I already have 1080 Avalanche. Also a little Transformer guy, PlayStation bag, which I'm still using to this day. There was one game inside there, and the Volito tablet from Wacom, which I'll hope to use to start drawing some stuff in the future, whenever I find the time to do such things. All in all, it was a good day. I didn't spend a lot of money, and I got a good suntan because it was really hot that day. But for that big of a flea market, the deals were actually pretty poor. Next up are my finds from the retro gaming convention in Kalken, Belgium. Most of these things were trades. For example, the HeroQuest, which is a board game, was a trade for the Red Hori controller from the previous video. I also sold some stuff there, so all in all I didn't spend a lot of money, maybe 50 to 60 euros. Crazy finds are, of course, the Magician Lord, the Neo Geo game, and the hook for the Sega CD, Mega CD here in Belgium, which is pretty minty. Thanks to my friend Simon, who gave me the Amiga OS discs for free. And I also had some killer deals with David from Retrovolt. I traded in some games and I got Totally Red, Dragon Ninja. I also think Gyromite came from him, and High Speed Pinball and Manic Mansion. Thanks to Pitrian for the Mega Man, who gave me a generous deal on that one. Also thanks to the guy who sold me the Hook and the Gates of Sindukan and the Afterburner 3. He had some pretty decent prices. And no thanks to the cocksucker who sold me Raiden on the American Super Nintendo, because the cartridge was actually broken. Not the actual game board, but the plastic cartridge was broken and he taped it to conceal it. I only spent €5 on it, so I'm not that mad, but still, it's a shitty thing to do. Also, many thanks to Sam and Dimfy for giving me the GameCube to PlayStation 2 controller, so now I can use my Neo Geo pad also on the GameCube to play Ikaruga. Yeah, in all, this was a pretty amazing retro gaming event. Together with Simon, we had a booth promoting the Belgian Amiga Club. I don't know if we found many new members, but a lot of people were interested in seeing these old systems run Amiga games, of course, which was cool. And we got in for free that way, so we saved €2. Yeah. At the convention, a friend of mine gave me a pro tip that there was a shop in town that had a lot of retro games in, like a second-hand shop. I said, there won't be anything left. And he said, yeah, you just go there, you'll see. And I guess he was right. I found some amazing stuff. For example, Pilot Wings boxed on the Super Nintendo was only $2.99. I found the Final Fantasy II cartridge, which was, I think, $19.99 or $24.99. I don't remember. The game booster for the N64, which is a really silly device that lets you play Game Boy games on your N64, but without sound, so it sucks. And I also bought Rescue Mission for the Master System, which I already had loose, and Moonwalker for the Master System, which I apparently also already had and didn't know. And last but not least, R-Type, which is not really a rare game, but which seems to escape me every time I see it for sale online or someplace else. Somebody is always ahead of me, so now I have it. Next up, I went to a local store to pick up some VHS tapes. It's 50 cents for 4 tapes, so you always have to buy 4. I started this 4-pack when I found the Wizards, and I said to myself, now I need to find 3 other tapes. So I maximize my 50 cents. And the little thing in the front is 1 extra megabyte of chip RAM, handmade for the Amiga 600, which of course I didn't find in the wild, but bought on AmiBay. So the next time I went to a flea market, it was only in the next town, which is 10 minutes by bike. I went to the same flea market last year. That's one of the first videos I made. I'll put it in the description, the link. I didn't find a lot last year, but this year I struck out gold, as they say. One of the first booths I ran up to had this GameCube lot. It was €40, but it includes all the Resident Evil games for the GameCube, except for Resident Evil 3, and 2 Dragon Ball games and the Pokemon Colosseum with memory cards. At a couple of booths later, I bought the 4 3DS games. The guy was asking €5 a piece, and I did the old trick of bundling up. So it ended up being €15 for 4 new or almost new 3DS games, which is of course amazing. Then it was a bit slow during the rest of the flea market. I bought the Zombies game for €2, the VCR tape cleaning tape for 50 cents, the WrestleMania DVD for €1, the Fantasy Star online game I think was €1 or €2, I think €2. And then I saw a booth and they were just setting up. It was already 11 o'clock and he had a boxed NES and a Super Nintendo and a PlayStation. And I asked him what he wanted for everything, and he said, I think like 80 euros in total. But the stupid thing was, I didn't have 80 euros in my pocket anymore. I think I only had 20 or 30 euros left. So I asked him, what would you ask per game? And he said, it's 2 euros per game. So I took out all the games that I wanted and I didn't have or didn't have boxed. So DuckTales 2 for 2 euros, Another World for 2 euros, and Starving for 2 euros. Those were the only Super Nintendo games he had. There were some more NES games like Super Mario 3, but I left that for another guy. That other guy came 5 seconds after me, and he bought the NES and the SNES for I think 60 euros. The SNES didn't have its power supply, but that's okay because you can use the NES one. But I'm glad I got the best games out of this deal, especially DuckTales 2, which is the first time I've seen it in the wild, and for 2 euros, you just can't beat that. So all in all, a pretty great flea market. I also got an amazing suntan that day, so I'm not complaining. So next up is my local flea market in my own neighborhood, which was the week after the previous one. I thought I did pretty good here, but another game hunter I know of found a SNES, a boxed Mega Drive, and an N64. So I don't know where those were because I was there really early. It happens a lot here apparently that people set up late and that they apparently have video games. So, but I'm still happy with the games I got here. I think it was 15 euros for the GameCube games. The headphones was 1 or 2 euros. The Alien Hominid was also 2 euros. Crash Team Racing, I don't even remember picking, picking that up. I don't even know where it is at the moment. And then the more Japanese styled game for PlayStation 3 and 3DS, I think I 15 euros including Gargoyle's Quest or something. The remote, I paid 1 euro for it. I also got a free Game Boy Advance, which was also pretty cool. Here it is. I asked the lady, how much is this Game Boy Advance? She said, oh, you can take it for free. Battery cover is of course missing, and included is the FIFA 2004 game. Yay! So in the week I decided it was time I hit that store up once again, where I bought the Final Fantasy II and the other games. And once again, he didn't disappoint. He had some new stuff in. These games were all $3.99, so that's pretty awesome. I just bought all the games that I didn't have. Deep Depth Trouble is apparently pretty rare, and the Flash is also a bit more expensive. So all in all, an amazing deal, and of course some amazing games to play, more importantly. After that, me and my girlfriend, we went to Norway for 2 weeks. I did some game hunting in Oslo, but I didn't find much. Only the Bard's Tale for 2 euros, King Kong, and those two 8-track tapes. I think it was 5 euros in total. Power Drift and Stellar Assault, they come from eBay. And the joystick for the Mega Drive was a trade for a box Pilot Wings, one I already had lying around the house, and which I replaced with a copy I found a couple of weeks ago. So we're already at the beginning of July. I believe it was the 4th of July when I went to do a pickup an hour away from my home. It was a deal I did online on Facebook. She sold some glasses with Mario, the Masters of the Universe, and stuff like that. So I contacted her and I said, I want to buy all those glasses. And she asked, are you interested in the old video games and stuff like that? And I said, sure, I'm interested in that kind of stuff. And she said, well, I got some stuff lying around. If you come by, you can choose from them, but don't forget to bring a lot of money. So I decided to take 200 euros out of my account and we went to the lady's house. So as you can see by this picture, she indeed had some awesome stuff. The Vectrex and all the games, the Super Nintendo, the Atari 7800 were all things I've been wanting for a long time. So she had more stuff, but I really took the things that I know I wanted because she said in the Facebook message, bring a lot of money. So I took all those things that I really wanted and I asked her how much. and including the glasses, she said €100. So of course I was stoked because even a Vitrix normally goes for a lot more. She knew the eBay prices, she used to have a store, but she just wanted to get rid of everything. The only sad thing is that with the Atari, it looks minty. The 7800 controller is not included. The Master of the Universe castle I got for free. She said you can take it. I don't want it anymore. It just takes up stuff in the house. They're actually for a nephew of my girlfriend, but I like them so much I'm gonna keep them around till I grow tired of looking at them, and then I will give it to my girlfriend's nephew. The Vitrix worked perfectly, the SNES works perfectly. The only thing I have left to test is the Atari 7800 whenever I find a freaking power supply for it. So in one of my local recycle shops, thrift stores, they had this new idea, and that is handicraft with old CDs. There's like a tub with thousands and thousands of CDs in there, and I went over to check it out, and I saw two GameCube discs lying around. A second disc for Tales of Symphonia and Metroid Prime. So immediately I started digging through the whole tub, and in the end, this is what I came up with. Luckily, I found the other discs of Tales of Symphonia, so now I have that game complete, and I also found a lot of PlayStation 1 games. They're not the greatest titles, but at 10 cents a disc, I don't gonna leave them behind. I also saw a Luigi's Mansion disc for GameCube, but it was broken in half, and I also found a piece of a Rogue Leader disc. So I don't know, I hope they didn't throw the boxes out. I hope these were just in like storage binders for CDs or something, and that they just threw them in the tubs. But it's actually a big shame because there were a lot of big box PC games like Phantasmagoria, Blade Runner, these 6, 7 CD-ROM type of games. So you can never get that complete once again. And I really, really hope they didn't throw out the boxes just to toss this in printing handicraft bin. I mean, come on. All these CDs will be scratched within a couple of weeks. On to the next flea market. This was one really close by and one in the city center. The Walkman is sadly not working. I paid €4 for the two PlayStation 2 games, €4 for the Wii game, €3 for the Turtles handheld, and I think €1 or half a euro for the two tapes, and half a euro for a little buddy Captain Planet over there. Not really a spectacular flea market. Next up, me and my girlfriend and her family spent a week in the south of France, and there I found this rack. Yes, the games were not included, of course, but I found this rack next to a trash can, so I picked it up. I'm gonna hang it on some wall, I don't know where yet. On to my favorite video game store, and actually the only video game store in town that carries retro games, where I picked up the Smurfs, Total Carnage, and Pro Wrestling. I had some PlayStation 3 games that I wanted to get rid of, so I went to a regular game store here in town and I traded them in, and instead I bought the Wii game Gun Blade New York and LA Machine Guns and the Hyper Dimension Neptunia collection. I think I had to pay an extra €10 or something. From eBay is Gradius 5 and Manakania. I always forget how to pronounce that. I was supposed to trade that game for something else with somebody, but the deal fell through. Here you see the Game Boy games come from a local flea market in the Twisted Metal also. The Game Boy and the video from a brand new thrift store in town, which was actually kinda pretty empty. I paid €8 for the video and the Game Boy, and it was €2 for the Twisted Metal, and I think 10 for the 4 Game Boy games. So I overspent a bit. These are all things I don't really need or want. So I went back to my local store that carries retro games to pick up Sequest because I had looked it up the previous time I was there and it looked kind of cool. I also picked up Dragon's Blood for the Dreamcast and Bart Simpson for the Super Nintendo, and he also had a new game in The Risky Woods. I think in total I paid 30 for all four, and the two video CDs come from the local thrift store. So my friend Simon from the Belgian Amiga Club, he sold all these retro video games because he wants to concentrate on collecting Amiga computers and Amiga games and Amiga magazines and Amiga CDs and things like that. So I went to his place and I got first pick of all the stuff he was going to sell. He had a lot of games that I already owned, including some on this picture. I forgot I had James Bond 2, and I forgot I had Splatterhouse 2. I thought I had Splatterhouse 3, but apparently it's also Splatterhouse 2 that I have. I paid 60 euros in total for everything on this picture, which I think is not bad, but is also not the best price ever. But you know, it's a friend's deal. He also paid a lot of money for this stuff, so especially glad with Fatal Rewind and Dynamite Heady on the Game Gear. Also glad with the Super Nintendo game Jurassic Park 2, which is an action side scroller. And the Game Gear actually works. It's pretty decent screen. So yeah, super glad with this purchase. So these games come from eBay from one seller. In total, I think I spent about 10 euros a game if you count in the shipping cost. So that's all right. These days, it's actually almost more cheaper to buy them on eBay than to go to Japan and pick some games up there. These were all for the collection. Well, yeah, that's it. So these are my pickups from last Sunday. There were 4 flea markets in town. I decided to go to one first, but I decided wrong because another flea market had some better deals. Luckily, I still found some of those deals. But you know, you have to choose one to go to first, and if you choose wrong, well, that's just sad. On this picture, no item was more expensive than 2 euros, except for the mini disc player. It was 7 euros, and sadly, it doesn't work correctly. I'm super glad with the Game Gear games. There are some nice ones in there. The NBA Jam one, if you remember the previous photo, not the previous one, but the one before that, I got the box, the empty box from Simon, so now I have the game to fill it. Also glad with Grand Theft Auto 5 for 2 euros, and Worms for the Game Boy was also 2 euros. Space Invaders for the DS, Space Invaders Extreme 2 was also 2 euros and is a hella nice game. I needed some more DualShocks controllers because mine are all broke. I seem to always pick up PlayStation 2s with broken controllers, so one was 1.5, the other was 2, so also pretty nice deals. I mean, these are all nice deals, except for the friggin' mini disc for 7 euros, which doesn't work. The Impossible Mission was a trade with a friend who was also having a booth at a flea market. So, this is my last pickup from 2 days ago. I went back to that one store where I bought Final Fantasy II and all those Master System games. And now he had a lot of PlayStation 1 games at 1.99, so I picked up the titles that I really wanted, and 2 more Game Boy games at 2.99. So this is the end of my long ass video from all my pickups between March and August. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, please ask me, and subscribe and like if you want to. It might motivate me to make more videos and more quickly if you like them. Well,